Welcome, everyone, to the Meaningful Hearts podcast, where we discuss the everyday questions that make us or break us if we let them. With your hosts, Drew and Daniela. Take our hands and let's walk this journey together.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Meaningful Hearts podcast. Today, we are going to do something that I think might be fun. I've chosen some questions to randomly ask Drew. You know, our podcast is a lot about growth and bettering ourselves and finding more meaning in our lives. So what better way to do so sometimes than just to ask random questions, questions that you can take for yourself or not, depending on what you think of them. But I thought it would be a fun segment, and Drew agreed. So
I agree. Treat yourself.
For context, Drew does not know the questions ahead of time. Did not prepare.
And I'm blindfolded.
No, you're not blindfolded. You're not blindfolded. But yeah, so here we go. Drew, are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
The first question is, what fictional character do you identify with?
Fictional character?
Yes, now I get to ask some questions that you don't know the answer to and you have to think about.
I mean, there's, I guess, many fictional characters. Could it be a comic book hero, or it could be anything?
Anything, really.
I would say maybe an archetype, not necessarily a character. And I guess we could piece the character into that.
Sure. Play around with the question. That's fine.
The dark, misunderstood type of outcast. Sure. I guess that would be most like almost like the hero, the hero that nobody sees coming in almost every movie. Like that's how I identify with that person. The loner guy, the cool loner guy who's different than most. Can
you think of a like? Is there a character?
All right, well, I guess I'll use one that just pops in my head. Don't hold me to this one, but just for example, like Twilight, Edward.
Twilight out of all.
hey, there are parts.
I was not expecting that.
All right, well, that's the one I could draw up right now, but
sure.
Some of those elements, obviously, not some of the other oddities that happened in that movie, but I always loved vampires.
Sure.
Vampires in general, they're mysterious, they're charming, they're dark, and sometimes they can play the role of the loner because in essence they are alone in their lives. They have a secret, I guess, but they're super cool and powerful. But they pick and choose on who they want to associate with because they do have these powers, and they also want to be like some vampires are the protectors. Like I have this thing, but I'm not going to put you in. It's kind of romantic. I don't know. So I guess, I use the Edward. I'm not too proud of that one, but
no, it's okay. I love Twilight, although I did love the books. The movies were okay.
That book was like holy. The movie was like, what the hell is going on right now? Guy ran up a mountain with a piggy. That was the best piggyback I've ever seen. Okay.
Yeah. This is good. Ready for my next question?
Yeah, I'm like, shoot it at me. I'm sure this is going to be really easy.
Honestly, the questions are like super random. They're not related in any way, shape, or form to each other, but part of it is to have fun with it. So
yes.
The next question is, what was your coming of age experience?
What? Coming of age experience.
Yeah. So coming of age is when, I guess, like when you transition from child to adult.
Okay.
That's kind of what coming of age,
I guess there's
at least from my understanding.
Many in from adolescence to official adulthood. I would say a big one for me was it's pretty a dark one. I mean, seeing my father attack my mom when I was like 13 years old, that was like, whoa, things are real. These are things you see in movies, but this is happening in real life. Um, Also, along with that came, my parents filing for bankruptcy, financial situations, fighting over money, worrying that we're going to be in the street, poverty, all these things that popped into that. So I guess that was really a wake up call that I need to focus more on getting myself together, because I don't think they're going to be able to help me. I'm going to need to help myself. And it became to like a survival type of thing. So it's kind of coming of age in a sense, where I took a big leap from being a 13-year-old kid to thinking, oh man, I need to be able to survive on my own, possibly.
Oh, that's a, that makes me think about how we don't realize sometimes the things that we go through, they kind of force us to mature or start to see from an adult like perspective. Yeah. And so thank you for answering that, and thank you for your vulnerability. That
I actually thought of that as we were answering. Like, wow, honestly, that to come revisiting that sure. is, I guess, putting into perspective that question with that experience. And it made me actually realize that's why I was a little more focused than my head being in school, because I was like, I need to make money. I need to like get it together quick. And I'm like, what do you know? You're a 13-year-old kid. What do you know? But yes.
Do you think that ties into the character that you identify with?
I always felt that way. I always felt like an outsider in going to school. I never felt a part of. I think part of it was being, I guess, ashamed of, I guess, in a sense, my family, and a sense of the things that happen, and seeing kids with their families and how they were. Mm-hmm. I was embarrassed, especially with my dad. And I know that when there was a school event, or if there was something, I remember when I was in high school, there was like a Christmas thing. It was like a Christmas play, and then there was a Christmas party afterwards, and every kid brought their family to this thing. They brought their family to meet the teachers and everybody that was in this program. I was in like this last ditch effort program for kids that were, violent offenders, going in and out of jail, pregnant moms. It was, family life at home was terrible. So I was in this program, and I was supposed to bring my family. And I forgot what excuse I came up with, but I didn't attend the play, and I didn't go to the Christmas party because I was embarrassed. I was just thinking to myself, I don't want such awkwardness to go there and have my parents there and see kids that I go to school with and have their deal with my teachers. And I was embarrassed. I remember that. I don't know what the hell, I lied my ass off to get out of that one.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I forgot what I said. I really forgot what my excuse was, but I got out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's food for thought.
Yeah.
So my next question is, who inspires you? And it cannot be me. He just mocked me.
I did. I mimicked her. Who inspires me? I wouldn't say it's one person. I think it's a cause that inspires me. Anybody who decides that they want to take ownership of their lives and are willing to make sacrifices to push forth and become better every day, I'm always inspired. There are people that go through great struggles, but they make it out on top, and they've gone through a lot. So I would say the everyday person that aspires to be better, and no matter what the odds are stacked against them, they push through and they persevere. That inspires me. I have friends like that. I have my best friend and the love of my life, who I can't use, but she falls under that network of people. So I am inspired by that. and you can attach many successful entrepreneurs and people that are out there that are teaching and spreading the word of positivity and not victimhood. I look up to those people and I admire them.
That's awesome. Thank you for answering that. Now, even though these were randomized questions, there's still connection among them, especially when it comes to improving ourselves and finding more meaning, from your coming of age experience and how that really put you in a position to want more, to mature, and to realize that life is pretty tough, but that you can change the circumstances for yourself. And then that tied into, I think you said you would already feel different, but I would definitely understand why that type of coming of age experience would continue to further leave you feeling like you were different, or like you didn't fit in, or like people didn't understand. And then ultimately growing up and just learning about yourself, and through years of work, learning about who inspires you. Does that make sense? Even though they were completely randomized questions, there are still things that are connected.
I would say that, my younger self was inspired by people that were just badass and didn't take shit, beat up people, and
sure.
maybe mafia style guys that were just liked or feared, but they got respect. And that was I guess that was my earlier years, but as I grow up, as I grow on, but as I've aged and I've learned a lot, that's the best way I could put it. That's what draws me into learning more about people.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Thank you for attending my, I don't know what you would call this segment. We'll have to come up with a name for it. We're open to any suggestions.
Question chaos.
But yeah, ultimately, even though these were random questions, they still found a way to be connected in some way, shape, or form for you. And I think that the same could be said to our listeners. Asking yourself these questions. You never know what you might realize about yourself, how you've grown, maybe where you might need to grow, and what it ultimately means for you to be alive.
Yes. I really love these questions, and I cannot wait to ask you some questions.
Yeah, maybe in another episode. But yes, just to summarize again, good questions, reflective questions to ask yourselves. And I look forward to getting to ask Drew more questions in the future too. We so thank you all for listening. We hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, or night, depending on where you are in the world and time zone.
Yes. Thank you.